Hello everyone. So today we are going to be propagating some snake plant. So as you can see here, I actually have a cutting already ready to go, and I'm also going to show you how to take some cuttings off of your plant using this sayuri snake plant. So let's start with this cutting here first. I simply took a cutting at the very base of the plant where the leaf was coming out, and now I am going to go ahead and make some cuttings here. I could just stick this whole thing in soil. However, I am going to cut this into multiple leaves or multiple cuttings, and that way I will have more rooted cuttings, which means that I will have more pups once these guys take root and I put them in soil. Alright everyone, so let me show you how I take this cutting. I'm going to go ahead and simply make a diagonal cut, and I'm going to keep in mind the size of my vessel here too. So I'm going to create a cutting probably up around this point, and we are creating a diagonal cut like this to create like an arrow for a few reasons. So the top part of my cutting, like up here for example, is not going to create any kind of root if I were to put this upside down in water. So cutting it at a diagonal like this helps keep me oriented so I know which part I should need to put in water. In addition, that's also going to create more surface area so I can have more root growth, which will give me a little bit more of an edge once I decide to transplant these from the water into the soil. I'll have more root growth. So this is some take root rooting hormone. I will have a link to this in the description if you want to purchase it off of Amazon. But this is very useful if you have if you want to ensure that more of your cuttings take root. You could put this on any of your water propagations or any of your soil propagations. Snake plants are a little bit trickier to water propagate, not necessarily because it's more difficult, however, it just takes a bit more time. So I'm just going to actually dip this guy right in here, shake off the excess. I got some powder in there, and then simply just put that into some water. So I'm going to rinse and repeat here, go ahead and complete the rest of this leaf and dip it into some rooting hormone. And another thing to note, if you want to speed up your water propagation process, especially for snake plants because it takes a bit of time, you can buy like a heat mat or keep this in a warmer environment where you are going to have, a little bit more of heat exposure to this plant. Because snake plants do take quite a bit of time, I would say several months for it to really start pushing out roots. So don't be alarmed if you take snake plant cuttings and you're not getting a whole lot within the first few months. You didn't do anything wrong. Just be patient, give it a little bit of heat. I wouldn't expose it to too much direct sunlight or anything like that because you're going to promote algae and mold growth in your water then, and we don't want that. So I got my cuttings in here. It's really as simple as that. I'm going to go ahead and take some more cuttings off of my sayuri here and go ahead and just kind of put them all into one basket. I'm just going to go as close to the base of the plant as I can and cut. So now I got one leaf. I'm probably going to do another few leaves here. Okay, it's like it never even happened. So I got some more cuttings here. And like I said, we are just going to take I'm going to keep in mind the size of the vessel that I have here so I'm not making too small of cuttings or too large of cuttings. There we go. And obviously guys, you can put this into any kind of vessel that holds water. I like something round, kind of like a globe shape like this, kind of spherical, because it's easier to stand things up on the side of a rim that kind of comes in, versus if I were to have a cup or something, these guys might be a little harder to stand up in there. But it's really preference, it's really kind of an aesthetic thing, however you want to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and just take the rest of my cuttings here, and I will see you guys in a few minutes. Alright everyone, so I have all of my cuttings done here, have them all placed in water, and now it's really just a waiting game. I'm going to make sure I change out this water and rinse off my cuttings as often as you can. A few times a week would be ideal. That will promote healthier root growth. I'm going to set this aside here and let me show you a few different steps throughout the propagation process of snake plants. So these are just whole leaves that I took cuttings off of my plants, and you can see here this is after several months, so you can really see how long root growth takes on these plants. This is getting close to a point where I could go ahead and put it into soil, although ideally I'd wait maybe another month or so until I got a little bit more root growth off of this. And this is another one that I have here. You can see got a bunch of root growth on this guy here. If you actually leave these in water long enough, you might see pups start to form at the bottom, like new little shoots of the plant, which is awesome. That's your indication that you could definitely go ahead and plant those into soil, but you can leave them in water as long as you want. The longer you keep it in water, though, most likely the more difficult it's going to be to transplant them into soil. That's a pretty universal with water propagation. However, I haven't had any difficulties transferring snake plant cuttings into soil. Not really that hard at all. So here is a propagated plant that I made. These were all cuttings in the center here that I took, that I water propagated, and for a few months I waited until I had some decent root growth on them, and then I transplanted them into soil, and then these pups start to go ahead and shoot out of this plant. And as I spend more time with this plant and as this plant grows, it will start to definitely fill out more. And if I'm not mistaken, these propagation leaves that I created will actually die back over a period of time because the plant is not going to put any more energy into sustaining these leaves, but will rather put its energy into new growth. Sorry, my card ran out of space and I don't necessarily know where I left off, but I'm pretty sure I was just saying that I could have definitely put some more cuttings into this plant to help fill it out. I will probably put all of these cuttings into one 4-inch pot. That would probably do great, and then I could definitely transplant as it starts to push out more pups. And I do kind of like mixing these different varieties of snake plants just to kind of get a different look, but totally preference. You guys can do what you want with that. But yeah, guys, it's really that simple. Let me know if you have any questions. And I would definitely pick up some rooting hormone if you do a lot of water propagation. Again, I'll have a link below. And thank you all so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate the support. Thank you.